Hi, this is Caitlin with GetLeadForms, and today I'm going to show you how to connect each of your individual steps of your lead form. If you look here in your flow view, you have each of your individual steps already created. And the first thing I recommend is before linking all of your steps to one another when starting from scratch, you should think through what each of the steps will be in the order that you would like them. It's easiest to link the steps from one to the other if you have already created the steps beforehand. When I go back to my form view, if I look at the list of steps over on the side, if I reorder them over here, it's not going to change the order that it appears in here. You have to go into each individual step and link them to one another, and I'll show you how. When I go to step 1, you'll see that each response has an arrow right after it. When I click on the pencil, that arrow indicates which target step it's going to lead to. So if you wanted the response number 1 to take you to your question number 2 or step number 2, you'd simply select step 2 and save your response. Then you would go and do the same thing for the second response button. You'll select the target step there and save the response and click Save Step. When I go back into Flow View, you'll then see that step 1 is now connected to step 2. When I go to step 2, I want to then choose where that response leads to. So I'll go to the pencil, select a target step, and choose the step that I would like it to lead to. Save step, and move on to the next one. Now let's say if you go to step 3 and you accidentally choose that response 1 leads to step 3, which is the step that we're in, you're going to notice something. If you go to preview and it's not working, generally what that means is that your lead form flow is broken. So you have to go back in, check your response, and you'll see that in step 3, the first response leads to step 3. You can go in and click on the pencil, select the correct target step, step 4, and save that response. When I go to Flow View, now you can see that the steps are now connected to one another. You always want to make sure you click on Save. And now all of the steps lead to one another. Now, one more important thing to note is that the last step will always need to be a thank you page. So you'll want to go to Form View, Add Step, and when it says here Create, you'll click on Text Block. The step name is thank you. And you can choose what your text would be. Thank you, we respond shortly. And click on Save Step. Now, when I look in Flow View, that thank you step is floating off to the side. So you'll go to step 4. You'll choose where your responses go to as the target step. Choose thank you and save response. Save. And now all of the steps are connected. If you want to add in a step after you've already linked all of the steps to one another, so I'll go to Add Step. We'll say Extra Step. And you can edit that later. Save it, and then you can add in your responses. Response 1, save response. If I look at Flow View, this extra step is floating off to the side. That means I need to connect the extra step to the step before it, as well as the step after it. So I have to decide where I'm going to add that in. So on the side, I can order them the way that I'd like them just for planning purposes. And I'm going to put that extra step between step 2 and step 3. And so I have to go back to step 2, and I'm going to choose the target step. I'm going to make it go to that extra step here. So I have to edit it. Save. When I click on extra step, now I want that to lead to my original step 3. So I have to go in and edit that as well. Now, once I do that and save, when I go to flow view, now you can see that all of the steps have been added to one another and flow into one another. This will enable your lead form to work properly.